Hi friends, Don Wilson here with a super duper exciting episode of As the Record Turns. I don't care much for unboxing videos myself. They kind of remind me of a baby shower or something like that. But this one's definitely going to be worth it, because in the 400 or so sides that I've copied, this box is going to contain some of the most unique, rare, and interesting, all at once, discs that I've ever encountered. And I can't wait to show these off. These were literally just delivered. Loaned very generously by Mr. John Levin. And we have got all kinds of wild stuff in this box. Some parts for unrelated projects, but more importantly, you've got these guys. And a lot of cardboard. We always have a lot of cardboard, don't we? And a lot of styrofoam. I swear to you, I'll get to the interesting stuff in just a second. This is one of those times where I'm going to be incredibly slow and incredibly gentle. Working with other people's records tends to bring that out in me. Great, so here's number one, and this is probably one of the more interesting pieces. Well, I guess it would depend on one's opinion. But this, ladies and gentlemen, is a 10-inch Berliner. I'll hold it up closer so you can see the label. And what makes a 10-inch Berliner so exciting is that these were only made for 3 months. They weren't made by the American Berliner company. They were only made by the European Berliner company, and I believe it was April or May of 1901 that they were introduced, and just a few months later was the acquisition by G&T. So there's number one. This is looks like an operatic piece. My French is horrible, so I'm not going to butcher the name. But yes, it's a French operatic piece, and the disc number is GC 33141. Now look at this. This is another one of those pieces that should give virtually any collector goosebumps. It's not immediately obvious what this is. Well, for most of us, it's not immediately obvious what this is. This is a Berliner Mother. This is approximately 8.5 inches. It's not pressed in shellac, but it's pressed of a softer material. This original is dated April 8th, 1898. It's the Directorate March, Sousa piece. Musically speaking, it may not be the most exciting, but what's really wonderful about these mothers is that they were pressed directly into a soft material, so they have significantly less surface noise, so one can really hear the fidelity that was possible at the time. They're 1/4 of an inch thick, and the back on this one is rather plain. Sometimes the backs can be rather interesting. So Berliner invented the mother. It was a process of, as opposed to simply electroplating the disc that was cut there and then of the artist, that disc that was cut would then be electrotyped with nickel or brass or some combination thereof, and then used to press out typically about 1,000 copies. But that was a real limiting factor when Berliner was starting to make tens and hundreds of thousands of records per year. So he came up with this idea of pressing into a soft material and then being able to use this to make additional stampers. That same process was then later used, well, it's still in use today. This video would have been much more speedy had I done this in advance, but I don't know that it would have been as interesting. I hope that you will appreciate some of the excitement in this. And here's a sight that not many people will ever get to see, and it's a sight that I've only seen a couple times so far in my life, and this is 4 5-inch Berliners. Some of these are unique in that they have undersized spindle holes. This spindle hole size had been standard ever since the beginning, but some of these are smaller, and they were sent for duplication so that it could be drilled out and that the records could then be played on a nice modern machine. It's not immediately obvious to me which ones it is, but John assured me that some of these don't fit. Obviously, this one's missing a piece. That's quite a hefty repair, but this one will be repaired. This is a very early one. It's number 16. Another similar repair. This is number 28. How someone was able to break a gutta percha. These are made out of rubber, so it's unusual that they're ever found broken. And wow, look at that one. It's about as clean as they get. There's no number on this one. That's interesting. 1022, Knowest My Pretty Damsel. but that's about as clean as they get. The remaining here are just some boring old 7-inch, I tell you. However, by a boring old 7-inch, here we've got one. It looks like this might be July of 1896. That's fairly early. We can tell that it's fairly early because it only lists 4 patents. I don't know if you can make it out, but there's the last patent that's referenced is February in great big FEB''Y 1895. And this is The New Billy. No, I can't read it, but it's a Dan W. Quinn piece. The New Bully. The New Bully by Mr. Dan W. Quinn. This is a rather late one. 1899. When you ain't got no money. Some things never change. And it's exceptionally clean. That one's sung by Mr. Len Spencer. Another exceptionally clean 1896 disc. Tommy Atkins by George Gaskin. And the last one, what surprise do we have here? Mary of Argyle Cornet Solo by Mr. Henry Higgins. This one's undated, but it's probably a 97 or 98 recording. You can tell that by the print. The print on it is not handwritten, it's typeset, so that probably puts it in 97 or 98. The New York recording studio started doing that a little early, and it's still the block number series. The later 99 recordings usually start with a 0. That was a change that was made in late 98 or 99. So just to show the full spectrum here, in one box we have a 10, 7s, and 5s. And if this collection here doesn't make you all a little bit jealous of Mr. Levin, then maybe you're in the wrong hobby. But if nothing else, this should certainly give all of us collectors a little gratitude to John for loaning such a bunch of wonderful discs that, of course, will soon be available as reproductions. So thanks for watching, and you can look forward to hearing audio clips of these in the near future.